Good afternoon, good evening. It's Peter J. Redding here, and it's Tuesdays with Peter. That's me. I am a professional coach. I've been a professional coach trainer and a coach mentor for the last 25 years. And I have a passion for life. I have a passion for people to get to know who they really are. And so welcome to the show. Welcome back to your life. I am flying without cello today. I'm not sure why, but that's what's happening. So hopefully she shows up momentarily. Today I thought we would talk about attitude. It's such a powerful thing, and there's some platitudes that go around this that, earlier in life when I heard that, yeah, have an attitude of gratitude. Yeah, but I'm miserable right now, so I can't. Or, look at what's working for you in your life. Yeah, but nothing's working for me in my life. I had an attitude of being, grumbling. That's my attitude. So that was, and as life has gone on, it's like, okay, so yeah, if life's a mirror, and we've talked a little bit about this in past sessions, and what I see in life, when I see in my life and around me, is a reflection of what's going on inside of me, then that's a really good indicator. So if life is miserable, then I'm miserable. If I'm happy about what's going on, then I'm happy with what's going on inside of me. So there's that, that's a sense of duality of this and that, in and out, me and that, me and my environment, me and my family, me and my relationships, me and my work, et cetera, et cetera. But if there's also a sense of self-responsibility in all of this. And so there's threads that go into this that are that all wind together in a fabric of life, a fabric of how am I approaching life? What am I doing? How am I approaching it? And all the rest of it. Okay. So welcome to today's live stream. And I'd love to get your comments, your questions, your inclinations, your ruminations around how does my personal attitude impact me? How does it impact my life? What kind of attitudes? Am I a choice around attitudes? Is maybe a starting point. And I believe that it is yes. Earlier in life, I would have said no, categorically not. I am subjected to my environment. I am subjected to how my parents are treating me. I'm subjected to what my professors think of me. I'm subjected to an environment at work that's toxic, or that's jubilant, as the case may be. Doesn't all have to be bad, but I am a product of my environment, and to a degree, I get that. But that's a way of living passively in life. I'm just going with the flow. And if the flow is with me, I feel good about it. And if the flow is against me, I'm miserable and I get to complain. Thank you very much. Again, the idea of choice and conscious living is what we're all about in this live streaming. And to be conscious of that and aware of that. So welcome to the show. Welcome to Tuesday Morning with Peter. Let me try to put up my chat box here. And I don't see anything yet. So question of the day, let me repeat this, is what is the attitude that I choose to bring to my life today? What is the attitude that I choose to bring to my life today? And maybe for the holiday season coming up. Okay, we're in the middle of December, basically. This is a time of holidays taking place. So there's maybe added pressures of finishing things off for the year, added pressures of family events that are coming up that I am either looking forward to or I'm not looking forward to. It's like, oh, I have to put up with Uncle Charlie again this for this Christmas or this New Year's. What's the attitude that you choose to have that benefits you? Or do you think that you are even a choice around your attitude? Again, earlier in life, I didn't think so. I'm subjected to, again, all the influences around me, all the conditioning around me. As I get older, thank God, I've come to a place of, no, this is my choice. And if I'm miserable, I am choosing to be miserable, as strange as that sounds. And that's just the way it has to be today. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to interact. I just need to be isolated and stew. Complain, internally complain. So, what is your attitude that you are choosing for yourself? If you raise your hand or unmute yourself, that would be great. So we can get your viewpoint on the importance of your own attitude. Question on the table is, what attitude do you choose? What attitude do you choose for yourself today and for the holidays coming up? And if you don't choose, then are you in a place of, I don't think I can choose? I'm getting some things in the chat box here. I see joy, an attitude of joy. Love that one. Categorically love that one. Let me get this a little bit bigger so I can read it. There we go. That comes from Gory. Thanks, Gory. Rajita saying, best to remain cheerful and try to keep the cheer. Yeah. This is an active thing. This is not a passive. Yeah, I hope that things get better. I hope I, interact with the world around me in a more life-affirming manner. We talk about self-responsibility here, and I'm going to talk about uber self-responsibility. I mean, bringing self-responsibility even up to a higher level, that I am not here to be done unto, to be suppressed, to be quieted, to be behave well in my family unit or in my company unit. Uber self-responsibility for me is, no, I take responsibility for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And so it's an active choice that is available to, I believe, all human beings. And again, I am not bypassing or rosy colored glasses that everybody should be happy, everybody should be pleased with, only getting beaten once a week. That is not where I'm headed with this. Most people that have the freedom to travel, to be themselves, to choose their work, to choose their livelihood, to choose their attitude, actually do that. And I would support that. Again, earlier in my life, I didn't see the world that way. I had to acquiesce. I had to kowtow. I had to go along with the flow. To a certain degree, that serves me, right? And to another degree, it diminishes me. And so I take a much more active role in the uber self-responsibility to choose. If I am feeling whatever I'm feeling today, I have a part in that somehow, somewhere. Maybe I've made a choice to, to just go along. And do I want to do that? Or do I want to stand up and say, I'm going to have an attitude of gratitude today. I am going to have a spectacular sense of who I am and what I do. Yeah. And just a second, we got Cello calling in here for something. Just, I lost her. So best to remain cheerful, try to keep the cheer. Yes. Attitude of hope. Thank you. It's from Manpreet. Yeah, all of those things. Absolutely. And I love that they're all life affirming in terms of how I'm reading them right here or seeing them on my screen in the chat box. So the next question is, if I get to choose the attitude that I take to my day, take to my life, take to, setting up, my forward-looking thinking and feeling over the next week or two and holidays. So what? How does that support you? When maybe someone says something disparaging, you haven't seen them for a year. And, they say something like, geez, I thought you'd be married by now. Geez, I thought you'd have children by now. You should be doing better in your career. You need to have a better attitude towards your mom. I'm just going back to things that may have been said to me earlier in my life when I got home for the holidays, and cousins or nephews or nieces or distant relatives or friends that I haven't seen for a year. Just bring back all the old judgments. How come fill in a blank? So having this attitude of gratitude, having this attitude of, I am really happy with who I am. I'm really happy with my life. Are there places for improvement? Yeah, okay. But you can see me how you see me through your own filters. It's not something I actually say to people even now. But I can shrug it off. It's like, yeah, what you're saying says more about you than it does about me. I'll say that again. What a person says to me, good, bad, or indifferent, by the way, not just life limiting kinds of things, but even life affirming things. It actually says more about them than it does about me. Think about that one. That's a juicy nugget for the day. So let me have some exchange here. Who'd like to come in and speak a little bit? What's going on in your head? Is this making sense? Am I speaking Swahili? You don't know what I'm talking about?
Peter, I can comment.
Thank you. Thank you,
definitely, you're so right. However, it takes a little bit of practice, and sometimes I think daily practice, to remain in that zone that you're not triggered and you maintain that particular, you exercise your choice to remain cheerful or joyful or grateful. At least that's what I have learned, that in the day, you have the chances to get triggered and you're aware. So I think it's about making a choice and practicing.
Definitely practice. Yeah, I didn't wake up one morning when I was 52 years old and say, okay, life's changing. All these things that people are saying are not going to bother me anymore. Thank you very much. I'm done with it. It has taken practice, and it takes continuous practice, I might add, to remind myself of, yeah, I'm feeling blue today. I'm feeling, put upon. I'm feeling not appreciated, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, thank you. Welcome to the human experience, Peter. So what do you want to do about that? Again, it comes that practicing of, boy. Okay. So if it triggers me, then there's something maybe that I have left undone. Maybe I've not really practiced it for a while. So I love the idea of practice. Yes. Um, Good. Yeah. Thank you, Rajita. Thank you, Rajita. Yeah. Well done. Keep on practicing. It keeps on getting better. It keeps on getting
Yeah.
easier, I think. Keeps on getting easier. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Gauri, I see your hand up and your bright, shiny face. How are you doing today?
Doing good, Peter. How are you? Nice to see you here.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think, on the one hand, we all want to be joyful and cheerful. And, this is the holiday period. We all want to enjoy it, rest some as well, and prepare for the future. For the next year. But I think sometimes, this global events like, now the new variant, then, the world is in a mess and seems like there's always turmoil. And I sometimes, despite all the cheer I have and I try to find in the world, I think the pace of things and just there being still a lot of doom and gloom makes one feel less cheerful, actually, because one is concerned. There is so much, there's still a lot of misery around. And so on a daily basis, as you said, I think Uber responsibility is great. So I do my best to have a great attitude, have a great day, make sure people around me are great. But then, to what extent should one be concerned about things happening, in the community, in the nation, at the global level, is something which is always this question mark.
Yeah, I hear that. And I empathize with that and relate to that. So here's my formula or my attitude towards that. Number one, I have huge compassion for my fellow global brothers and sisters, regardless of where they live and under what conditions. I just do. The second thing, in terms of that idea of Uber self-responsibility, came to me when I was living in Tokyo many years ago. And I've talked about this earlier in a previous session, but I'll repeat it because it's exactly what you're point on and what you're talking about. Tiananmen Square took place in the 80s, where there was a civil conflict, right? Where the soldiers were there with guns in Tiananmen Square and so on and so forth. And the civil unrest where the population was reacting. And so there was this loggerhead.
Yeah.
And then there's other atrocities that take place in all of our countries, unfortunately, still. That is heinous. It feels like the devil is at winning, that the day type of thing.
Yeah.
And so my reaction to that earlier in life was hate. I hated the perpetrator. I hated the person that went in and expressed themselves by shooting people. And I started thinking about that. And it took a process for me to say, okay, so if I believe, which I do, that we are all connected ethereally, energetically, somehow, I can't explain the physics or the whatever that, but I believe that I'm connected to all human beings, all sentient beings in the world. Now, if I take that as my way of living and my way of connecting, then when I go into that process of hatred, I detest, I hate, I don't understand, I wish that person would they themselves be dead, etc., all the thoughts that go through my brain. Then the image that I had is that then I am contributing a little more, a a cup full of hatred or a gallon worth of hatred into the soup, the hatred soup of the world. And that hatred is going to settle down to the people that are least ready to deal with it. And they then have to take that hatred and process it through themselves and react or act out in some hateful manner. And that's when this concept of uber self-responsibility. All right, so what responsibility do I have then to lessen the burden of the people that are here that can't process it any other way than through an act of hatred? And I converted that hatred to compassion. I put myself in the place of that perpetrator and said to myself, what kind of life has that person had to have to come to this point in life to only be able to express what's going on through them in this manner? And I started crying. I literally started crying. I was like, I can't imagine the turmoil. I can't imagine the abuse. I can't imagine the life that individual is experiencing right now. And again, this is worldwide. This could be, next door to me in Florida. It could be, in China.
Anywhere.
It could be anywhere. And it happens everywhere. And so the next stage for me in terms of taking this self-responsibility was, okay, so if I can take self-responsibility and I can process that piece and not at least add any more hatred to that energy, then I am going to be more resourceful. I'm going to be able to do the work that I'm here to do. And that will add to the positivity. That will add to the upliftment. That will add to the betterment. That will add to the life affirming energy that I am also connected with and to with all of my global brothers and sisters. Some of it directly, like today, right now, this moment. Some of it ethereally or energetically or somehow. And again, I don't pretend to understand all of that. As a kid, when I was growing up and I heard about the monks in we call them Himalayas, the Himalayas, right? As you might say. I'd say, what do they do up there? They don't do anything. They're useless. People have to bring them soup for them to survive. It's like, I don't get it. They're not doing any work. Because I was a workaholic earlier in life and you have to do something. Well, my belief now is that they have saved the planet by processing all the hatred. And somehow I believe that they take that in some magical, mystical way and transform it into an energy of love. It's like they're like human transformers for global ugliness.
Very nicely.
And I kind of like that image. And I have no concept. I've never talked with a guru that is a monk that's in the Himalayas. I just don't know. But that's my image that I hold for them and have such a great gratitude for their capacity, their willingness to spend their life doing the work that they do on behalf of me. To process, that part of hate that I contributed or might contribute to the world.
Right.
So my answer directly is, do the work, my own inner work. As you know, I don't watch television or news hardly ever, so I don't get bombarded by all the negativity of what the news people will pick up around the world and say, there's more ugliness in Africa going on. There's more ugliness in the Middle East. There's more ugliness in, the United States and contentiousness with this, that, and the other. And so I don't feed that part of what's going on worldwide. I make a conscious choice of choosing what can I do to contribute to the life affirmingness of the world, as opposed to worrying about the the ugly,
Mhm.
and take on a responsibility of not adding more to that. That's my, does that make any sense at all, Gauri, in terms?
A lot of
Yeah.
sense. I think I'm going to not get bogged down by that negativity, and as you said, instead of filling that cup of hate by thinking about it and being negative about it, rather put in that positive energy into it. Something like what the rishis do, as I think Archana said in the chat, but not sitting in the Himalayas, but sitting in Delhi.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
My Himalayas happens to be in Orlando, Florida.
Florida. Yeah.
And I do it through,
Which is lovely.
I do it through Zoom.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter. That helps. Yeah.
Terrific insights, Gauri. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I'm going back to the chat box here, and Archana saying, Peter, you are perfectly right. Oh, thank you. Okay, good. I conjured that up. I don't know where it came from, but this is what these Brahmins do. We call them Brahmins. Okay. And this is the tribe I wish to revive and call them Rishis. What? How do you say that? Archana, come on, and how do you pronounce that?
Peter, we call them rishis.
Rishis.
Yeah, they are like scientists, who know how to convert and play with the energy.
Wow.
And they are considered as the saviors of the existence, basically.
I had no concept. I have a concept of that, but I didn't know the history of that at all. So that just proves to me that what came through is because I'm connected.
Yeah, exactly. So it is, I'm saying it is something that you kind of downloaded from ether, maybe.
Yeah.
But we have this kind of people, and in our, whatever I know from our culture, and I can understand that it's not just Indian culture, but even in US and abroad, it's basically beyond what human has created. So there is always an existence, and there is a saviors of the existence, which I can also see through.
Yeah.
And they are built up in that kind of mindset. And when they grow, they have that innate capability to actually convert the energies into positive energy and to save the existence. In our place, what I know as rishis is like, we have these classifications of Brahmins and Hindus, but this is nothing to do with caste. All of the
Yeah.
world is quite mistaken about it. This is about the kind of work that they do. So those people or those humans who undertake this kind of work and develop a potentially and capability, and there is a whole Vedic structure, Vedas to teach this. So they get into this zone, and for them it is, whether they live in Himalaya or whether they live in Delhi, doesn't make a difference, because everything is manageable by themselves. So they know how to create things.
Fabulous.
And they have created what we say, small cultures, small stories, small rituals and festivals, such that the families, the normal layman human beings and families, can just follow that without understanding the science behind it, just naturally live their life happily, and it is inbuilt in the structure and the fabric of the society and the culture.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I call them scientists. They're purely scientists, and they really know what's going on around.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that articulation, because I never had put that together. Like I said earlier, and you referred to, it came through me. I don't know, this probably when I was in my 40s, whenever that Tiananmen Square thing happened in the 80s. So quite a while ago. And I just, it flowed through me. It probably was flowing through me all my life, but I just wasn't conscious to it. It's probably more the fact, if I'm connected now than I was connected when I was 5 years old and 15 and 25 and 35 and 45 and so on. It's just that I was oblivious to it. And thank you very much. I got work to do.
I will want to add one thing, that if you really see what you're doing is that kind of a job. So you're already falling in that category.
Thank you.
Yeah. And most of the coaches, if they really get into this very deeply and with a sense of humanity and get into the connect stage, because coaching itself cleans up the coaches themselves so much. They are all, I see them all doing this job, getting into that space.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they become a great being themselves. And then it's not about methodology, it is about what the coach is being. And then you can handle the entire energy of yourself and so many other human beings who are coming up into this space for getting
Beautiful.
coached. That's the modality in the modern world we can use for
Beautifully
it.
said. Yeah, beautifully said. For those that are just hearing this maybe for the first time, I've been involved with professional coaching for a very long time now, 25 years, maybe more. And for me, it's a very spiritual thing. And it's one of the things that I've always held and trained my students in is that to become a masterful coach, you have to become a masterful you have to master your own self-mastery. And that will dictate to the degree to which you are a masterful coach and holding that energy space for the client. So this is all going hand in hand with that, my experience with that. For those that are still in a doing modality of life, I do, then they're going to focus on the client's do. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? By when? Soon. It's part of coaching. It still is part of coaching, but it's only a piece of coaching. The deeper side of it is, who are you? Who are you being? Who do you want to be? Who do you need to be? Are you returning to your original self? Do you even know your original self? And so a lot of the emphasis, especially in the last 5 years in professional coaching worldwide, has come to a place of self-mastery. What are you doing for your own self-reflection? What are you doing for your own self-care? What are you doing for your own self-management? And having what we call a cleaner slate for the client to come into and then be able to explore what's going on for them that's important for them. So it's bang on. Yeah. So thank you for that, Archana. Rajiv, I see that you are smiling away there and in your glory. Any thoughts around any part of this for you?
Yeah, Peter, before I say something, I just want to acknowledge that, Archana has a very spiritual, enlightened voice. I don't know, when she spoke, it was really, connecting. So I just want to acknowledge that. Yeah. And today we speak about attitude. So while you started talking, I just pulled out my notes and I was going through the core selfie exercise you made us to do. And I've done that very seriously with you that time in the first.
Excellent.
And I was looking at all the words, right? How relate to an animal, and you talk about what qualities you like. Then, you talk about another living thing and how that living thing is contributing. And then, what are you appreciated for? And when you put all that and, rewrite your the life purpose statement, I think I was reading that for myself and I said, yeah, this is the attitude that, which I would like to show up. And, it was such a powerful exercise, and the statement, when I look at, then, there are no better words than what came out in the purpose statement. So yeah, that is the attitude with which, I would like to show up and I would like to be.
Wow. Beautiful. Yeah. And again, if you're not familiar with CoreSELFie, I encourage all of you to go to CoreSELFie.com. And there are free exercises there that have been created over the last 12 years that was based on the work that I did for the previous 15 years before that. And again, it's a look at the core of who I am, which by definition for me is life affirming. I don't believe a creator, however you hold that, believe in that, what your spiritual traditions might be. I don't know of any creator that says, yeah, we're just gonna make somebody that is absolutely, the devil incarnate. I don't believe that to be true. I just don't. An individual may be conditioned into that state of being, but they're not born that way. They're not created that way. So by going back to that sense of core self, it's life affirming. It's angelic. It is, for me, very spiritual concepts to all of that. So I'm glad to hear that experience with you, Rajiv, in terms of, looking at your life purpose statement and saying, yeah, I aspire to be this person. I aspire to be who I was created to be in all of my, and again, the way that we hold life purpose here is not, you have to be the structural engineer for a big building in a big city, and that's my job, and that's my life purpose. I don't believe that. Now, that might be your job, but the life purpose is applicable to all parts of life. As a son, as a father, as a brother, as an executive, as a construction worker, as an author, whatever you do in all the different stages of your life, that life purpose is the guiding North Star, is the compass, is true north. When I can be aligned with that, as best like humanly possible for me to do, then I feel really good. I know that I'm doing my life's work. It's very existential in the standpoint of, who am I? and that for me, that helps define it. Who am I? Why am I here? How does my life make a difference? All tied up with the life purpose statement. So let me come back to you, Rajiv. How do you remind yourself of that? Because as a human being, I forget sometimes who I am. I mean, literally, and I teach this stuff. I develop these things, right? They came through me, but I still forget. How do you remind yourself? How do you stay in tune with that?
I think life has its own way to bring you to that space. I remember while you were having this session earlier, I was very curious, and you also talk about your transformation from your 39-year-old and then how you got transformed. I think we all have that. At least personally, we will always come to that point where our quest to become something will expose us to a lot of suffering. It will expose us to a lot of pain. It will expose us to a lot of psychological time that we accumulate over a period of time. And then we suddenly realize, no, this is not resonating with me. And then, so I think this exercise, looking at on your statement on a frequent basis, but whenever you are out of track, I think over a period that practice, gives you that sense that, oh, you're getting drifted because you started experiencing those same suffering, or you are not experiencing that peace when you operate from this particular space that you have identified for yourself. And I think the life situations or the sufferings is, I think, a better reminder of, oh, I need, I'm drifting and I need to come back and relocate it, and then you again bounce back and you start back on the course. Yeah,
I love that. And it's such a simple thing. It's like, am I suffering? Yes, I'm suffering. I don't like what's going on. I don't like what's what I'm doing or how I'm doing it. I'm conscious of that. Suffering is just a reminder of I'm off course. That's all. And the other word that you use is peace. When I'm at peace, I like myself. I like what I'm doing. I like the people around me. I like the work I'm doing right now. I have a sense of satisfaction, or what I call fulfillment. Now I know that I'm on course. I'm on my course, not somebody else's course for me. But they're two great indicators. It's kind of like guide rails, aren't they? It's like, oh, I'm starting to suffer. Okay, so let's get the car back in the middle of the road. And they tend to be more immediate. Yeah. Why am I suffering? Damn it. I just shouldn't have to suffer. Oh, I'm not being myself. Great guidelines. Thank you for that. Who else? Who else? Oh, I see a hand up here. Let me come to Shifta. Shifta? Shifta Kumar?
Yeah, hi, Peter. This is Shweta here.
Yeah.
And I was invited to this meeting by my sister, Rajita, and she has very, very good things to say about you. And she's so happy she's doing
Thank
this
you.
course. And I'm honored and I'm grateful that I get to witness it as well. So my question is, as you grow with age and as you become self-aware, you also start seeing how other people are not being themselves.
Yeah.
So what I'm arriving at is, as I'm becoming self-aware, as I'm growing older, I can see like how people are not being themselves. Or small examples are, people complain a lot about their lives, and then when you are in a gathering or something, you see some kind of pretense, some kind of a show, and people are not being themselves.
Right.
And they talk about other people behind their backs and all. And I personally, I don't like it. I never liked it, but now that I'm being more myself, I'm not able to, take it for a long time. So I slowly start distancing myself, and
you slowly start doing what yourself?
Distancing myself from these situations, or not from people per se, but since I don't enjoy these kind of conversations, or like, when complaining about others or gossiping or things like that,
right,
I generally don't get involved. But at the same time, that kind of makes me feel isolated, because as human beings, we are social animals. And it's kind of like a catch-22. You get into that situation, and you have to bear that, even though you enjoy those people and their company, but at the same time you feel kind of, uh, you can see through their, I mean, with age our bullshit antenna goes up, as I like to say. So you see through everyone, and then you don't feel like participating or getting involved in their lives or conversations. So my dilemma is how to not feel isolated, and how to still interact, and how to still be social. And I don't know, I'm a little confused. I'm here in South Florida. So slowly, I'm letting a lot of people go, because I know that they're not being themselves, with themselves, and even with me. So I'm not able to handle that. So I don't know what to do at this point in time, because I sometimes do feel isolated.
Yeah. There's lots of strategy. I'll share some of the strategies that I've used around that exact situation, right? Going home and, everybody's fighting, or, they're negative, or they're wearing masks of, aren't I great? When everybody knows that, what they're saying isn't really accurate or true in terms of how they've been for the year, or so on and so forth, right? So strategy number one is limit my time with those people, even if they're my direct family. Strategy number two is, when I am in that environment and want to be in that environment for the collegiality of, whether it's a family or fraternal, group, or old friends or neighbors, or what it might be. And I'm witness to somebody that is what I'll call bad mouthing, or complaining, or, saying some derogatory things to another human being. I'll give you an actual example of that. It's so really weird. But Halloween, back about 4 or 5 years ago, one of the neighbors came by and they were trick-or-treating, right? So this is like Halloween, end of October. kids go around in costumes and collect candy from all the neighbors, and it's a very fun time. And it's anyhow, my one of my neighbors came, and they had their parents along with them, and they were looking over little Johnny with his little bag out in front, saying trick or treat. And the grandpa shared something to the effect of something derogatory, not very friendly. It wasn't meant to be mean-spirited, but it came across as mean-spirited. And so what I did in that situation, and it's the first time that I'd ever met the grandparents, and I turned to my neighbors, who are casual acquaintance, not very close one, but casual acquaintance. And I said, yeah, let me translate what Grandpa just said. Grandpa just said he loves you so much, and he's so happy to be here and witnessing this beautiful event with his grandchild, all dressed up as a princess or a cowboy or whatever whatever they were dressed up in. And so I made an interjection of lightness that I believe that the grandpa was trying to communicate but didn't know how. He had 6 generations or 6 decades or 7 decades of, this is the way that we interact. We make fun of our kids. We embarrass them intentionally, and that's our way to show our caring and loving. But it doesn't come across that way, and it doesn't feel that way, but they don't know any different. So I took it upon myself to be the translator. I've done that, I don't know, a dozen times in my life in different family events, where again, they'll make a joke of somebody or tell a story that is old, and it had been retold now 20 years. When little Johnny did this at the festival or at school, and it's demeaning. And everybody laughs, kind of obligatory wise, but it's not friendly. So I take it, just make light of it. Yeah, what Grandpa's really trying to say here, what Daddy's really trying to say is he loves you so much, he just doesn't know how to say it directly. And then they all laughed at that because that was uncomfortable. It was like, that was unexpected. So that's one way that I do it. The other one is when when a lot of the people around me start talking about what's not working in their job, what's not working in their life, what's not working in their relationship, what's not working with their boss, what's not working in their community, what's not working in politics, what's not working in this, that, or the other. I just simply ask, frankly, a coaching question of, so what is working? What I hear what you don't enjoy about blank. What do you enjoy about blank? I don't change the subject, but I change the attitude or the perspective of what's being shared. That has been most effective. And again, it's changing a person's attitude or focus of what's going on. They can focus on what's not working. And what you focus on expands. If you continue to focus on what's not working or what you don't like about blank, them, or the situation, then that seems to be overwhelming, and it grows and it festers. By asking them can I ask you what is working, or, how does it continue to serve you to be with that person, or continue to serve you to be in that job or with that company, or continue the activities that you're currently doing? How does that serve you? It's a new question in their brain. Again, because they've been conditioned to look for what's wrong. I think every human being that I know of that's grown up in any culture has been told by their parents and by their teachers and by their employers what they do wrong. Mostly and first and foremost, as opposed to what did you do right? And so again, that's just my way of adding some light, brightness to my world. So let me come back to you, Shita. What did anything in there is a strategy or anything that you might want to try or that makes sense for you that you could try out for yourself?
Yes, thank you so much, Peter. Yeah, all of these things do make sense. And I have been trying that. But as I said, that kind of, it makes me not put in so much effort of trying to get things out of other people or trying to show them the other side of it. I kind of distance myself. So that is what something maybe I'll have to change a little bit, because distancing myself makes me feel isolated. So maybe going forward, I'll have to use different strategies and get involved, be involved, but at the same time, not be too affected by all this. That is something that I'm working on.
Yeah, great
because
job.
I like people. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry.
Thank
Go ahead.
you. So as I said, as I like people, but then especially in these days of social media where everybody wants to show their best, put up their best and everything, it kind of gets to you sometimes that, everybody has issues and all, and then people keep pretending. So, but I think, the strategy to not get affected, and also, some things I have to keep trying and figure out what will work best.
It is an ongoing process. It's like, okay, let me spend the next week or two, solve this one for my life, and then I don't have to deal with it anymore. That has not been my experience. If anybody has a strategy that can completely solve this one like overnight, I would be interested in hearing that. But it's an ongoing thing, because So great consciousness, great awareness on your part, and thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. And great having you here.
Thank you.
All right, we've got about, what do we have? About 10 minutes, 9 minutes, 8 minutes, something like that. Anybody else want to talk about attitude? What's the attitude that you want to adopt for the rest of the year? The last couple of weeks of the year. Type it in the chat box. Just one word. What's the attitude you want to bring to the next couple of weeks? Doesn't have to be for the rest of your life. You're not signing up. There's no contracts here. But what would be a life-affirming attitude? Type that into the chat box. I'll just read them out. Life-affirming attitude that you'd like to remind yourself of, kind of be in a space of the energy of. And I won't read your names. I'll just read the attitudes. First one that's coming up is confidence and assurance. Very nice. Confidence and assurance. What other life-affirming attitudes come to mind? See some more coming through now. Choice to feel good. Thank you. Resilience, a very nice one. Resilience, yeah. Excellent. I've tried to move away from the language of a positive thing versus a negative thing, because the positive thing for me might be a negative thing for somebody else. But so rather than using that kind of terminology, I like to use what's a life-affirming attitude as opposed to a life-limiting attitude. It's more accurate, I think, in terms of kind of self-regulation. Is just a simple question to myself when I get into these situations? What's life-affirming here? What's life affirming for me? What's life affirming for those people around me, as opposed to what's life limiting? What's feels like it's, having me have to be the round peg getting, pushed through the square hole. What's life limiting? as opposed to a life affirming that is more open, freer, more generative, all those kinds of things. So congratulations, well done for your awareness, your consciousness, your willingness to be yourself, your willingness to show up real, authentic, your core self. Love that. And I will wish you a great day. I don't see any other things that we need to go into here. So we'll call it for a day. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being you. Thank you for making the world a better place because of your attitude and how you show up and want to show up for yourself and for those that are around you. So I'll wish you goodbye. God bless. Namaste. Stay safe. Bye, everybody.